You are Locked On Heat Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, Heat fans? Welcome to another episode of your Heat Postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, and what a day. Look at this thing. I got an infection in my eye. Which eye is it? I can't even. It's this one. It's that one on this one. Yeah, it's opposite. It's up there. But, man, it's crazy just sitting here. And But what a night. The Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. And look, not for me to complain. Look what the Milwaukee Bucks went through just to get to this game tonight. And I think my phone just died as I said that. Looking at it over here. But, man, oh, man, another tough night for Milwaukee in Milwaukee for Miami. First game for Jimmy Butler of the second suspension. Now it's a two-gamer. I mean, this is a joke, right? I mean, is Pat Riley trying to throw away the season? Jimmy Butler is, but is Pat Riley too? I mean, they got to get him out of here. They got to get a deal done. They're not going to be rushed into it. They're not going to, lose a couple of games and then all of a sudden, panic or do a deal that they shouldn't do just because Jimmy Butler wants out, obviously, right? That's not going to be what happens, and Pat Riley will never do things that way. He will never do things that way. The Miami Heat president, as you know, is old school can be. And I don't blame Riley. I don't blame him. But the way things are in the NBA right now, the climate and the culture, it just is it's crazy when you think about it. And the players holding all the cards and controlling everything. And, Jimmy Butler does this. And I was watching today, Burns and Gambo on Arizona Sports 98.7 in Phoenix. That's their afternoon drive show out there. And they were talking about Jimmy Butler, and they were like, hey, who's to say that the same thing isn't going to happen here in a couple of years if Jimmy Butler comes here and they're able to work out a trade from? Who's to say that in 2 years the same thing's not going to happen here? And that's the game you're playing. That's the risk you're taking. Come on, StreamYard. That's the risk you're taking. That's the risk you're taking every single time. And I'm really trying to get things to upload while I'm on here, and it should just go right up, but it always takes a few times. So anyway, 125-96 the final. It was the second quarter again tonight, 44-25. They were outscored. Look, the Bucks are great, man, when they play well. They got Dame. He just missed a triple-double by one rebound. Thought he had it. They took the rebound away after the game. And then, of course, you had Giannis, 25 and 12, and he's a beast, and he's always a beast. He averages 31 a game, so you held him 6 points under his average. Gary Trent, a season high, not a career high, 21 points, and a good one for him from beyond the arc. But the disturbing thing, more than anything about this game, I will tell you, and come on, StreamYard, in just a moment, I will tell you the most disturbing thing about this game, because I'm clearly not going to be able to get any of these things uploaded with this right now. But I will tell you that your Heat Postcast is sponsored by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase with Gametime. And, of course, got to remind you that your favorite podcast now has a newsletter, right? The Locked On Heat daily newsletter, one stop for Ultimate Team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter. The guys do a great job with Locked On Heat, and now there's a newsletter in that mix as well. And look, the Miami Heat just not getting it done lately at all. And Jimmy Butler's obviously, this is the 8th game he's missed out of the last, 10 at this point, or whatever it is for Jimmy Butler. And it's just becoming comical at this point. You're becoming a laughing stock around the league. But, secretly every owner, every GM is like, go Pat. Go Pat, man. They don't want this. You don't want the inmates running the asylum. And people get offended like I'm saying something I shouldn't be saying when I say that. And what I mean is I don't want to compare the players to inmates in a jail. But what I'm saying is you can't have the employees running the workplace. You can't have people dictating their terms day in and day out. You can't have people just saying, hey, I'm not going to show up until you trade me to it. Can you imagine, you show up at your job and you tell your boss, hey, I'm not doing anything until you trade me to another company. You can't work for Apple and say, I want to trade to Amazon. You know what I mean? I'm not showing up until you trade me to Amazon. It doesn't work that way. And Jimmy Butler's a baby. Jimmy Butler's being a baby. He's been a baby before. He's going to get his way. You keep encouraging this behavior, people are going to keep doing it, and they're going to get their way. And these players, like if you ever listen to Kevin Durant talk, he's like, F the world, man. These people don't care anymore. Come on. I'm just trying to upload basic things here. And it doesn't want to. It gets to be a little bit. Come on. There it goes. All right, so we'll be good. We got the box score coming your way. We got the team stats. We got the graphics that you guys love, the stars of the game, the turning point, the moment, all those things. And I'm not really sure where the that's very strange that would be. Oh, these are the wrong ones. Okay, that's why. Anyway, so it's 125-96 tonight. It was the second quarter again for Miami where most of the damage is done. And, it just is unfortunate. It's they start the game, you're up 18-3. The Bucks didn't even get there till 4:30, flying back from New Orleans. They postponed the start of the game, and it was the weather coming back from New Orleans. So, those things happen, and it just is crazy, right? It really is nuts because the Heat are sitting there waiting. And you're wondering, who that affects more, the team sitting there waiting or the team that's getting off the plane. And, I could argue that the team sitting there waiting, you potentially be affected more, right? Wouldn't you? I mean, you're sitting there waiting all that time. I would think that, man, this is aggravating. I would think that it would be, it'd be tougher sitting there waiting. I mean, just me and my thought there is that it's definitely tougher sitting there waiting. And when you're sitting there waiting and, the team's not even there yet and you're wondering what's going on with the game and whatnot, it just is, it gets to be a lot, like trying to upload things into StreamYard while you're doing a show that are supposed to be used in the show. All right, I give up. Anyway, 125-96. I mean, that's like 100 tries to upload this thing, and it's repetitive, and it happens every show. So I don't know what to tell you, but I am doing my best. All right, Damian Lillard, 29 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. The 10th one taken away. He had a triple-double when he left the game, about 4 minutes left. The travel issues for the Bucks I told you about. You know what I'm saying? Coming back from New Orleans, their Wednesday game with the Pelicans was postponed, and their plane got back to Milwaukee less than 3 hours before the start. Tonight, Giannis 25-12, Gary Trent Jr. season high 21 on 7-10 from 3. Kel'el Ware 22-10 for Miami. Tyler Hero 21 points, 9 assists. Bam! Where are you, Bam? You might as well be with Jimmy at this point. Miami, they needed to play their best tonight. They could not withstand the loss of Jimmy Butler, who has completely torpedoed their season. A guy who has completely trashed his team's season. He's a leader on this team. He makes the most money, and he is the guy who is trashing your entire season right now. I mean, it's crazy. You know what I mean? The Heat are fouling. Duncan Robinson's fouling Dame on a 3 on a buzzer beater at the end of the half. And Dame goes scoreless for the first 18 and a half minutes, still ends up with 29. And just a bad night all the way across the board for Miami. Just not a good job. Defensively, the intensity wasn't there after the first quarter. And look, they started this game real well. You would think they would, right? When your opponent gets off a plane cold, literally coming out of the snow and into Milwaukee, and they come off the plane, they're ice cold, they come into the building, they warm up, and they beat your butt. That's embarrassing. Where's the pride? Where is the professionalism? Where is the effort that will prevent that? And I know you're outgunned. I understand you're outgunned. I know you're overmatched. I mean, the Heat have nobody on their team that's even close to Giannis. They have nobody on their team who's even close to Dame Lillard. Tyler is a second-level all-star. At very best, he's a second-level all-star. At very best. And that's not a knock on Tyler. That's who he is. You compare him to the other twos in the league, and you're looking at guys like Booker. You're looking at guys like Dame Dillard. You're looking at guys like Donovan Mitchell. Where are you going to put Tyler on that? He might be the third level of all-star, down from that group and another group below it. So, that's not a knock on Tyler Hero, but he's not what his name would suggest he is. He's not a hero. He's not the guy who's going to carry you night in and night out. They've had press conferences in the past. He and Jimmy are sitting there laughing, joking about all that. But, the reality is Tyler Hero's not carrying you anywhere. Not offensively, not defensively, not overall. He's not carrying you. He might have a night here and there where he's red hot and he might win the game for you in the fourth quarter. I'm not saying he can't do that. I'm just saying overall, by and large, he is not the guy. He's not that dude. Jimmy Butler at times can be that dude, but is Jimmy Butler at 35 years of age still that dude? Look, has this team peaked with the finals run in 23? Play in the last couple of years, finals run maybe fool's gold. Jimmy missing a ton of games last year and the year before, and then he goes and pulls this crap after sitting out all those games, after being hurt so much. They can't wait to trade this dude right now. They cannot wait to trade this dude. I mean, it is what it is, right? They can't wait for him to be gone. But in the meantime, you can't just do a deal that doesn't work for you because the guy wants out and he's trying to force your hand. The last thing you want to do is let him win now. to that degree on that level. You can't let them do it. This is your Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, 125-96. Look, they'll get this worked out. They'll trade Jimmy. The question is, who will they get back that will help them be better than a play-in team, better than they were with Jimmy Butler? We'll kick that around a little bit more on the other side. Not that much because it's a post-game show. We will talk about the disaster that took place in Milwaukee a little bit more in depth. What went wrong for Miami? What didn't? We'll talk about that more on the other side. It's Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And oh, baby, what time is it? A que hora? It is game time. Who doesn't love going to a game? Who doesn't love the thrill of sitting there live and watching your favorite team, your favorite players go to battle? Who doesn't love that, right? Concerts, theater, you name it, all the above. The experience just keeps getting better, and it's because of what you can do with Gametime. When you think about it, right? Curation, making it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, meaning you get your own personalized selections just for you. It's smart technology, right? With AI and everything else, and it reads you, it knows what you like, and it gives you what you like, doesn't give you anything more. It gives you what you normally would prefer. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to look through everything. It will curate for you, make it even easier. You get the all-in pricing. It shows the total up front, no surprise fees at checkout, which is great. As well, you get panoramic views from every seat in the app. You get a lowest price guarantee and the Gametime ticket coverage with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So do what I did and what I do on the regular. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. All right, 125-96 your final tonight. The Heat lose in Milwaukee, and we've talked a little bit about what happened in this game. Look, the Bucks were very late, travel issues. They pushed it back an hour. You know what? I feel like if their plane couldn't get there, that's on them. I don't care if it's the weather. They shouldn't change the game time. And they were there 3 hours early. Let them get off the plane and really play. You know, the Heat shouldn't have to have it pushed back. When your game is pushed back like that, and you're on a schedule and shoot-arounds that morning, and that's just not cool. And I think that actually had an effect on Miami and a negative effect on them tonight. But here we go, taking a look at the box score for you. Let's do the Bucks first, all right? Miami on the road tonight in Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 25 and 12 points and rebounds. Dame Lillard, 29 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. Gary Trent Jr., 21 points, 7 3-pointers. Bobby Portis had 16 points and 8 rebounds as well for the Bucks, who had been favored by 5.5 coming into this game tonight. And I definitely would have taken Miami for this game on FanDuel because of the fact that the Bucks got there so late, and I would have got my ass handed to me. Thanks a lot. And we need to get into Bam Adebayo in a minute. But Duncan Robinson, 12 points, 4 of 13 shooting, 3 of 12 from 3. This is not why you get paid all that money, Duncan. You need to start hitting some threes, bro. This dude needs to start shooting the ball a lot better. He's not getting it done. And speaking of not getting it done, the Olympian, red, white, and blue, had Steph Curry carrying you, had Kevin Durant carrying you. Bam Adebayo, 11 points, 14 rebounds. Look, 5 of 12 shooting. Bam is not getting it done. You're spending a ton of money. You're paying him superstar cash. He's an Olympian. You got to score more, man. You know, unless they just get a guy in a trade for Jimmy who just fills it up, but I doubt it. So Bam had 11 points and 14 rebounds on 5 of 12 shooting. Tyler Hero, 21 points, 9 assists, 6 of 19, though, from the floor, 4 of 13 from 3. Look, he's a second or third tier shooting guard, man. Once they really lock him up and send doubles at him and target and aim a defense toward Tyler, it's not going to completely shut him down, but his numbers aren't going to be the same. He's not that dude. Larson got the start tonight, had 4 points. Highsmith with 3 off the bench. Jovic, 8 off the bench, did not have a good game tonight. Jaquez, 8 points off the bench, not the best game for him. 4 points for Rozier, who's been a disaster. 3 for Highsmith, 2 for Johnson, 1 for Christopher. But the only Miami Heat player, and again, we're getting encouraged by this, the 3 balls getting there, but Kel'el Ware, the rookie, 22 points, 10 rebounds, as the Miami Heat continue to show, and he continues to show them, I should say, that they got someone great in the draft. And he is someone who's going to be here a long time. He fits that mold. He's tall. He's going to make a ton of money in his career. And look what they've done with Whiteside, and look what they've done with Bam. You know, I'm not knocking the organization, but Jimmy Butler has really hamstrung them this year, and it's a shame. All right, let's take a look at the team stats. They always tell the story. Miami shot 37%. You could stop there. The Bucks shot 46.9 with 12 more made field goals than Miami. That's not a good sign, especially when 18 of them are from 3 and you made 12 and shot 23.5% from beyond the arc. And when Miami shoots like that, they're never going to win with this team as it's constructed right now. It's never going to happen. Free throws, they were 16 of 21, Bucks 15 of 20. That's a wash, no advantage there. Rebounds, Milwaukee by 5. Assists, the Heat 26, Milwaukee 32. The Heat had more turnovers. The Heat had fewer steals, fewer blocks, fewer fast break points. They had 6 more points in the paint than the Bucks, which is rare because Giannis gets like 21 per game in the paint himself, but not tonight. And then the largest lead, 15 for the Heat, 32 for Milwaukee. You were up by 15 halfway through the first quarter. And what a disaster it ended up being for the Miami Heat. And, you know, it doesn't have to be this way, man. It's Bam Adebayo not being a force or a presence offensively. They're still figuring out how to play the two bigs together and how to work that. Tyler Hero is still trying to work through being the focal point now of defenses with Jimmy Butler out. They can do even more to try to take Tyler away. You don't have Jimmy the facilitator. You don't have Jimmy drawing the fouls, taking the ball to the rack, drawing fouls, getting bigs in foul trouble, getting teams in foul trouble, getting the Heat in the bonus earlier. We've been through all these things 1,000 times. Bam was playing great as Jimmy settled into a role, and you were seeing Bam emerge and Tyler become an all-star, but Jimmy was a big part of that. The way Bam was playing up top, Jimmy could drive and dish. Bam at the top of the key, he could hit flash cutters, Jimmy being one of them. He could hit a shooter like Tyler or Duncan when he decides to finally start making some threes. You know what I mean? So I don't think that this Miami Heat team is at all equipped to play and win without Jimmy Butler. It's been proven in his absence. And as they look at trades that they could possibly, they might want to look at other trades and other deals because you bring in different players now and they don't fit chemistry-wise the way that these guys did with Jimmy Butler. Now you got someone else coming in halfway through the season, and man, oh man, this thing is going off the rails on a crazy train. Jimmy Butler crazy train, right? But hey, the players have all the power. This is the modern day NBA. It really is a shame when you think about it. It really is a shame because, man, this team with Jimmy engaged and playing at his best, I think it'd be pretty damn good. I don't know what Jimmy has left in the tank, to be honest with you. I wouldn't extend him either right now, missing all those games. But these entitled superstars, that's what they think they get because that's what they get. You know what I mean? Ask the Nets about Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and James Harden and what a disaster and all the money they paid them. I mean, that they should be slapped for what happened there. That was ridiculous. And Jimmy, what he did in Minnesota and Chicago, and look what he's doing now in Miami, and just killing franchises. You pay the wrong guy, and look, they all have opt-outs. It's just a couple of years now. You pay the wrong guy once, you're screwed, a franchise player. You pay the wrong guy once, you're in big trouble. I don't blame Pat Riley for digging his heels in the sand. He's playing the long game. He's playing for the overall good of the franchise, right? The overall good of the franchise, not just this year, and definitely not a single player. Every single player who ever puts on that uniform knows that there is no I in Heat and there is no I in team. Period, point blank. If you're going to play in Miami, you know this, man. You know what I'm saying? You know this. So I don't see where it's a surprise. I don't know why it's taken Bam so long and why it's been so hard for him to adjust playing without Jimmy Butler. This is the 8th game. You know what I mean? He's been having trouble scoring, having trouble getting the shots. You know what I mean? He needs more shots. The ball movement's good. The unselfish play is good. But Bam Adebayo needs to take more charge out there and more control on offense and score more points. You're going to pay him that much money. You're going to make him that much of a star. He's got to score. You know, he can't be Draymond Green on this team. No one else in the league can be Draymond Green or Dennis Rodman for the Bulls. Dennis could have scored a bunch, but Draymond could too. But the guys who are doing the dirty work, Bosh was the guy for the Heatles, even though he still scored 17, 18 a game, 20 a game. Chris Bosh did the dirty work. A lot of, and Udonis Haslem, for example, but he could never have been a star. But when a guy who could be a star does the dirty work and becomes a star doing the dirty work, Draymond, Dennis Rodman, number one, those guys, the list is very short. Think of that list. Draymond, Dennis Rodman. There's like 5 guys in the history of the league who are on that list. Literally, Michael Cage was one of them back in the day. You know, they would do the dirty work. They would beat you up. They would get the rebounds. They would play defense. They would body you all night. But look who Rodman had on his team. Jordan could score all day on anyone. And then you had Pippen when Jordan wasn't scoring. And you had shooters all over that team, whether it was in Rodman's version of the Bulls. Grant had Paxson. Rodman had Steve Kerr, who was a great shooter. But he also had Michael, the greatest scorer of all time. All right? Sorry, the ring chaser. He is. He is. And LeBron doesn't care what I say about him, but it is what it is. He's bouncing around to teams, him and Kevin Durant trying to win rings, came to Wade's team. Durant went to Curry's team. Missed me with that crap. Bird, Magic, those guys would never have done that. So anyway, I am getting a little bit too long-winded. We're up against a break. It's Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. But my point is, you can't be that guy, Bam, on this team. You can't be. You can't be the guy who scores 10 points if you're getting 14 rebounds. First of all, it's not 20 rebounds. You're not blocking 5 shots. You're not getting the steals. You have to score. You're not Draymond Green, bro. You're not Draymond Green, and you're not Dennis Rodman, and you never will be. And that's not necessarily a knock on Bam. You just need him to elevate and score more. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. You can't be Draymond or Rodman on this team. It's Locked On Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease on the other side. We do the players of the game. We do the turning point of the game. We do the final score graphic, and we get you ready for the Nets game on Saturday. Where Brooklyn at? Coming up. Heat under 500. First time, long time. It's Heat Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And I am here once again to remind you to get ready to tackle the NFL action with America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel. Because right now, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And one more time for your mind, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter, not your favorite postcast. We are unique, but introducing the Locked On Heat daily newsletter. One stop for Ultimate Team and League coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Heat newsletter on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Come on. Oh, my Lord. Okay, there we go. All right. Not quite as easy as a board. As much as the technology gets digital, and they say it gets easier, pressing a board, that never happened. It would load right away. And even the carts and radio, it would all, and the tapes would be queued and TV, and these are supposed to be easier. Click, and it just pops up. But it doesn't always pop right up. Now, does it? And the connections aren't always good. But 125-96, the Heat outscored by a lot in the second quarter, had an 18-3 lead midway through the first after the Bucks got there 3 hours before the game due to snow delays from New Orleans, where they didn't even play last night when they were supposed to. And, yeah, that team goes out and beats you by 1,000,000. And you just don't have it, man. You didn't have Jimmy Butler. You just don't have enough good players. You got Larson in the starting lineup. Highsmith's playing a bunch, like Jaquez and Jovic. I mean, these guys are good and their times will come, but you're not counting on them to beat Giannis and Damian Lillard and Bobby Portis and Gary Trent. You know what I mean? It's not happening. It's delusional. If you think Tyler Hero's carrying you anywhere but out of the playoffs and not even in the play-in, you're delusional. And if Bam doesn't start scoring more, you're not going anywhere. I don't care what you think about Jimmy Butler. I don't care what they think about Jimmy Butler, what anybody thinks about Jimmy Butler. It's very clear that without Jimmy Butler, and this is the 8th game without him, this year that he's been suspended. He's missed a couple more with injury. You look at their record without him. You look at their numbers without him. And the Locked On Heat guys do a great job with this every day, day in and day out. But they also have a show up where they're talking about the criticism of Bam Adebayo. And it's fair. It absolutely is fair. All right, let's throw up these graphics, talk about the Nets a little bit, and get out of here. But we have to see Bam step up that offensive game, help Tyler out. Who else is going to do it on this team? You desperately need another scorer to come back for Jimmy Butler, whether it's Beal, whether it's DeRozan, whoever it is. And, you know, a mess. You might even need to make 2 trades. So anyway, 125-96, the final score tonight at the Milwaukee Bucks. Look at Giannis, man. He averages 21 points a game in the paint. Think about that. Averages 21 points a game in the paint. 31 overall, 21 in the paint for Giannis. And he's one of the very best, I think maybe the best player in the NBA. His free throw shooting hasn't been good lately as Shaq disease. But, man, 125-96 he's something fast and powerful and just like the deer, the buck you see on the uniform when he's running full speed. How about the moment where the game turned around? These are the moments. Outscored 44-25 in the second quarter. And look at Spo going, how the hell can you let a team that just got off a plane 3 hours ago do this to you? Do you like that? How? How in the world can you not score more, Bam? How in the world are we shooting so poorly? Duncan Robinson, hello, I thought you were a marksman. Everybody suffers without a guy like Jimmy drawing defenders. Everybody suffers. Do not forget it. First off, let's show you the Heat star of the game. Kel'el Ware, 22 points, 10 boards, another fantastic night for the rookie. Look at Lopez, can't do anything about it, but look at the tats, look at the look on his face. He's a star in the making. We got another star in Miami. He's coming. Killer Kel'el, 22 and 10 tonight. Now it gets a whole mess of ugly. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 25 and 12 for Giannis. Specimen that he is. Look at him, one of the best players in the world right there. And then Dame Dollar, make you holla, 29 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. Left the game with 10 rebounds, but they reversed one later. And he left with 4 minutes left. They reversed it later, and either he didn't come back in the game or they reversed it after the game. I'm not sure what the sequence was there, but he didn't go back in if they found out earlier just to chase a stat, which you love about Dame Dollar, make you holla. But he was the best player on the floor tonight. Giannis as well, those two, and they usually are night in and night out. And they need more from guys like Middleton to come back and Bobby Portis and whatnot to give them more, because right now they're not looking like a title contender, which is very strange, right? For the Bucks, very strange, because they came into the season, they're 25 and 17, the Heat 21 and 22. But what a nightmare for Miami. They play at New Jersey Saturday. See if they can get better against the Nets and see if we get any resolution to the Jimmy Butler thing. It's another game that he'll be suspended, and they are not good without him. They weren't good with him, really. But I thought for a minute there they were getting a little momentum. They had some things going, and then he got suspended the first time. And then they win 3 of the games on the road, and they're not against good teams, but you're still thinking, hey, maybe this team could still be a play-in team even without Jimmy. But depending on who they get back, man, it could be a long year. And what a year it's been. Marlins, trash. Dolphins, trash. Canes collapsed completely at the end of the year, trashed it, threw it away. You got to watch Notre Dame and Ohio State play for a national title. Now you got to watch the Bills, possibly, while Tyreek Hill watches the Chiefs. It's a nightmare. It is a nightmare. From the minute Tyreek Hill got thrown on the ground before the Jacksonville game. And then they pull that game out, you got the hope. But it's been a bad year. And then the Heat with all these expectations, the Jimmy Butler saga, it has been a nightmare. So once again, your final score, 125-96. The Heat fall at Milwaukee tonight. We'll be here on Saturday night when they take on the Brooklyn Nets right here with the postcast after that. In the meantime, check out Locked On Heat podcast every day and the newsletter as well. Until next time, Heat fans, I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Gries, Gries, at Jim Gries _ on social media. Thanking you so much for being here. Asking you while you're hanging out to give us a subscribe, hit that bell so you know you get alerts when we're coming your way with more content. And then come on in, say hi in the chat, in the comments. We will have some fun together. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Heat fans. We are.